ladies and gentlemen, Shady deal itself. Now, this is the tale of town city of an unnamed village. He lived a simple life, making just enough to afford the little one-room shack. And for a while, in fact, for most of his life, he was very happy. But sadly, was not to last. It was in the time of change when the young blacksmith met a young woman named Carmine selling rugs in the market, and as fate would have it, fell in love with her straight away. He could not stop himself, and who could blame him? The woman looked. The problem was, even though there were many feats he had accomplished in his when it came to looks, he was no Adonis. This bothered him, for though he knew he could make her the happiest woman in the whole village, he also knew that a woman of such beauty and would never agree to marry a creature of such horrid appearance and disposition. He heard of a young witch doctor that could take anything and change very nature. Now, normally, he was against changing his appearance for anyone, but his heart was blinded by love. Therefore, in his mind, he was not being used, for only for his only thought was to impress her. And so he went and tried to strike a deal. And he said to the witch doctor, "There is a woman in the village that I have fallen in love with, but she is so beautiful and graceful that I know in my heart she will never fall in love with it. Is there anything you can do?" "No, sir," said the witch doctor, "but I know a man that can." "Who is it? Who could be capable of such a feat?" And the woman said, whose name in fact was Marie Laveau. "His name is Sir Telephine." The smith pondered, which of course is understood, as this was a huge step. I mean, think about it for a second. What was he about to do? He was considering changing his appearance forever for a girl. This was something that his parents had warned him never to do. They said that looks never mattered when it came to women, that most women, what they wanted when push came to shove was a man with a good heart who could treat them the way that they deserved. However, against his better judgment, quit and decided to meet the man they called Sir Newt. The smith followed the witch's instructions to the letter, bringing his most prized possession, center of the crossroads bridge, which was a four-way bridge in the shape of a cross. When it came to the center, when he came to the center of the bridge, he saw a man whose hands were wrapped in bandages. He was studying the man's colored face when the man called himself the man who called himself Sir Newt said, "What can you give me?" Smith handed him a feather quill and sticks that was bequeathed to him by his father. It was a family heirloom. Then the strange man asked him one final question. "What can I give you?" "There is a young woman in my village named Carmine, and I have fallen in love with her. But I know in my heart that my appearance is much too horrid for her liking. She will never consider me as a husband. And what and you want me to fix your appearance? That's fine, but let me ask you a question. How do you know she doesn't already?" Long story short, Smith to persuade Sir Newt to change more fair to look upon. Now, from the tale thus far, one might assume the smith lived happily ever with. Now, from the tale thus far, one might assume that the smith lived happily ever after with the woman he loved. This is sadly not the case. He went to the rug booth where usually Carmine worked to tell her what he had done for her and how he felt, only to find her dead, and pinned to her chest was a note. "Dear Jack, there is something I should have told you when we first met. There is a drawback dealing with me. I know when someone has short, even if they don't know it themselves. And when I don't have my payment due and it isn't given properly, I go and retrieve it for myself. I am writing this letter to inform you that the payment that you gave me was not enough. So I gave you your father's will back with the ink, and I took what I believe to be your most precious possession, the heart of the woman you love so truly. Farewell, Jack, and enjoy your newfound look. But be warned, they fade over time. Sincerely, Sir Califine. P.S. You should have checked before coming to me, because it turns out she loved you in spite of your appearance. You already had her heart. Shame you didn't." He lifted the letter, find a gaping hole in her chest. Within the hole was the silver with the following inscription. I've seen the box before millions of times, and before had he seen the inscription. Language was unknown to him, but oh, right away it was one that he was familiar with, and it seemed to be written in light. What happened to him? He lived the rest of his life with a broken heart and a guilty conscience. Every morning he'd cry from dawn. When the sun went down, he went to the spot where she worked and he would light a candle, placing it in the shadow of the bush. They say that time heals all wounds, but this wound healed. Some say he's still alive, but most believe that he and that his spirit still lingers due to his guilt and broken heart. Of course, he wouldn't same now as he looks as looks tend to fade when you get older. But it's just a story. I hope that you guys have enjoyed that. I want you to know that I'm putting forth my best, trying to make sure that um have plenty of good content for your faces to enjoy, and plenty of good things to listen to, and make sure that you have something that pops up in your feed that you're like, okay, I really like this. I want to make everybody happy with the stories that I upload and the games that I play and the content that I produce. Again, I can make a living at it. So, do me a favor, hit that like button, share it with your friends, subscribe really well, and ring the bell for your notifications. I don't have a bell to ding, but I guess I could do. There's your bell. Ding that bell. Um, there we go. I need to get a bell for this, but you know what I'm saying. Make sure that you come back. Bookmark the page if you have to, because I'll tell you what, I enjoy doing this and I want to do more of it. So please subscribe.